here, which is wonderful. Thank you so much. And Dan, Dr. Dan White Hodge, hip-hop scholar, will be speaking next. So thank you, Dan. Would you like to take it away?
All right. Well, thank you very much, Anthony, for having me. This is a great event. I mean, I know this is an ongoing discussion that I've had with a lot of our students. I know Melissa Harris Perry had a whole bit on this recently on her show as well, discussing just, cultural appropriation. I think that's really the place that I look at a lot of this. Somebody about a week ago posted on my Facebook timeline Jimmy Fallon and your boy, what's his name, Justin Timberlake, doing the last 30 years, 20 years, 35 years of hip-hop, and while the talent, you can't argue the talent of what's going on there, I had a bittersweet taste in my mouth as it related to that, because I'm like, well, who gets to tell the story of hip-hop? I'm like, hip-hop started in the cuts and the corners, and the lyrics that they were talking about, I mean, I don't know Justin or Fallon, so I'm not saying against them personally, but dare I say, they're not necessarily understanding the weight of those lyrics and what those actually mean when somebody says, fuck the police, man. When somebody says, keep your head up. When somebody is talking about these things about Brenda has a baby. I mean, these are all stories and allegories. I mean, the last 12 years of hip-hop in general have been very commercialized. I tell everybody the same thing. You want to hear the last 12 years of commercial hip-hop, go back to Nelly's Country Grammar album, and you can pretty much just see the last 12 years of that. That being said, I think with this is the classic what Greg Tate writes about, everything but the burden, what white people are taking from black culture and society. And so when I look at this, I begin to kind of, a lot of what's left of my hair stand up. My neck starts to essentially say, again, what are the meta-narratives, that are being told in society, and who gets to tell them? It is, as one of my friends and colleagues says, it's really deracialization. So of really politics, of really rap music. So we don't necessarily want to deal with the effects of what's going on. We want to deal with, just the niceties and the money that hip hop and stuff like the Harlem Shake makes. And so I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna front. I have real problems with just appropriating, whites appropriating culture that don't really understand on what's going on inside of what's happening. Dance is a powerful form of communication. There's not a culture on this planet that doesn't engage in some form of dance music. There's not a people group that doesn't engage in some form of dance music, and it speaks to that. So when I see this, I mean, it's no different to say maybe what happened to the Running Man or even the moonwalk for that matter. And I know those are kind of like, oh man, those are kind of pop culture. But they didn't necessarily originate in some of these dances. We think about the Crip Walk, we think about some of the dances that were out there that originated in forms of oppression. Even cumbia, when you think about salsa cumbia, these cats had to, it's danced a certain way. Cats actually had chain and bars around their feet, so they could only dance a certain way. But if you don't know that cultural context, you just dance because it's funny and it gets caught up on the web and stuff. So that's kind of my view. And from a scholarly perspective, it's always interesting to me, again, who gets to tell these narratives and stories. And that's really the big view that I have with it. Again, going back to the Fallon and Timberlake video, again, the talent is unmatched. It's theirs. You can't really argue that. But to really engage in these conversations, I think we have to go back to the people who actually originated these conversations. So when you think about dance, when you think of who is out there, when you think about, somebody like a Melly Mel, don't push me because I'm close to the edge. I mean, these are songs that are speaking to the political, the cultural, the social oppression that folks in the urban and ghetto enclaves have experienced for decades. But we're still at the area of, again, this popular discourse that engages us, that we continue. It's easy just to forget. I mean, it's easy to look at NWA and just say, oh man, they were a cute group, they were nice, Eazy had a jacked up curl, I know, but at the end of the day, they made some money, same thing with Dre, and that's some of the problems that I have even with commercial rappers and commercial artists, and that's why I'm not front. I like Macklemore, and I know, oh, he's white, he's Mexican, look, I know he ain't African American, he ain't from, but he's telling a story, and he's able to appropriate and say, look, I'm coming from a long line of cats that have been doing this, so I'm cool with it. It's not like, oh, this black type of stuff. But it's about giving homage and paying homage to where things are at. It's the same thing with jazz, the same thing with blues. I mean, when you start thinking about what even happened to that, my fear is that in 50 years we'll look back and hip-hop will be just B-Rad from Malibu's Most Wanted, which is why I love that film so much, because it really captures, I think, what is happening with particularly hip-hop culture in general to this day. You have cats that live on the outskirts of society who can actually appropriate it, dress like it, talk like it, have the vernacular like it, but in essence don't necessarily have to bear what it actually means to be a person of color in this day in society, in this day and age.
Thank you so much, Daniel. We're going to go on to the next.